Well, you probably know if you've watched the other videos that my name is River and I'm your TOEFL teacher. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the speaking section of your TOEFL test. And most students tell me that this is the part of the test they are most nervous about. Well, don't worry. This is the first of 7 different lessons on speaking. And I promise you, when you finish all of the different lessons, you will be ready and relaxed to talk about anything. First, I'm going to tell you now about some of the different kinds of questions you will have in the speaking section. And then later, I will tell you about how this course can help you. All right, the speaking section is the third part of your TOEFL test. If you remember, you first had the reading section, the listening section, and then you have a 10-minute break. When you come back from your 10-minute break, you will start the speaking section. The speaking section of the TOEFL test is done using a microphone. You will speak into the microphone for all of your answers. You will probably have 6 different questions you need to answer. And each time you will need to talk for about 1 minute. There is nobody listening to your speaking when you do the test. Your speaking is recorded and saved on the computer and sent to the TOEFL site. Then, after you finish the test, someone will listen to your recordings to give you your score. The speaking section of the TOEFL test is divided into 2 parts. In the first part, we have something called the free choice task. In the free choice task, you are given a topic and you need to talk about it for 1 minute. The topic might be something like, what is your favorite day of the year and why? So, for an example, you might talk about your birthday. You could say the things you like to do on your birthday, the people you like to see on your birthday, and why it's your favorite day of the year. Another example might be, who is your best friend and why? And then for 1 minute, you would talk about your best friend. You might say who your best friend is, why you like them, the things you do together. All right? We also have another kind of question called the paired choice question. In a paired choice question, you need to make a comparison between 2 things. An example might be, do you prefer to study on your own or with a group of people? And then for 1 minute, you would talk about your choice and why. Another example of a paired choice question might be, some people prefer to live in small towns. Other people like to live in big cities. Which do you prefer and why? So you can see in the paired choice, we are making a comparison. And that's the first part of the speaking test. In the second part of the speaking test, we have questions called the integrated task. In the integrated task question, you will first have a short listening that you listen to, and then you will need to talk about the information you heard in the listening. Or you might have a short reading, a short listening, and then you will need to talk about the information that you read and that you heard. This is called the integrated task. In total, you will have 6 questions to talk about. And remember, each time is only for 1 minute. So, what exactly are they checking in the speaking section? Well, they're checking to see if you have good pronunciation. They're checking to see if your grammar is okay and if you use the correct vocabulary. It's also very important when you do the speaking section to speak clearly. Don't speak too slowly or too quickly. Try to speak in your normal voice at a normal speed. If you start a sentence and then don't know what to say, you can't think about how to finish the sentence, well, it's not a problem. You can start a new sentence. Sometimes a student might be nervous. They begin a sentence, they can't think of what to say, and they stop speaking. Well, this is a big problem because remember, you only have 1 minute. So, if you start speaking and you don't know what to say, stop for a second and try a new sentence. It might be easier for you. Also, when you're doing the speaking, on the computer screen, you will see a clock which will tell you how many seconds you need to speak for. It's important that you look at the clock because you want to make sure that you finish your answer before the clock finishes. Also, it's a good idea to try to speak for the whole time. You don't want to stop speaking before the time is finished. You need to speak for usually about 1 minute. Now, I want to tell you about taking notes. If you remember from the listening section, I also told you that taking notes is a very important part of the TOEFL test. Well, in the speaking section, you should also take notes. Before each speaking question, you will have about 30 seconds to a minute to prepare. You don't have enough time to write down everything, but you do have enough time to write down some key words. Remember, we talked about keywords before. The keywords are the most important things that you want to talk about. An example, if you had to talk about who your best friend was, you might want to write down on a piece of paper the name of your best friend, maybe why you like them, and maybe something you did with them. So you can, when you start talking, you can use the information. Example, I write down on the piece of paper, my best friend is Maria. And then I write down another word, funny. And then the third word I write down is party. Then when I start speaking, I can look at my notes and say, oh, I want to talk about Maria. She's my best friend. And one of the reasons that I really like her is because she's really funny. And I also want to tell you about the party we went to last week. So you see, by writing down a few keywords, it will help you in your speaking to remember what to talk about. Also, in the integrated task, where you have a listening or a reading, it's also important to take some notes. Remember, you can't write down everything you hear or everything you read. Just try to write down a few keywords with the most important pieces of information. Many students say to me, River, what if I don't know what to talk about? Maybe I won't have any ideas. Well, in the other 6 speaking lessons, I will be giving you lots of information and ideas so that you will be able to talk about anything for 1 minute. It's really not that difficult. Okay, that's the end of our first video lesson on the speaking section. Remember, you can visit our website at www.iteacher.eu to watch other free videos, to buy the complete video TOEFL preparation course, or you can also make an online appointment with me for a lesson. Alright, thanks for watching iTeacher. See you!